What are some things you wrote down for your 3, 2, 1 so far? I recognize you probably didn't finish it, and that's absolutely okay. Serena, what's something you have written down?
For my interesting facts, I got one, and it was every living thing inherits traits.
Okay, good. Every little thing has traits. Living thing has traits, and that was for your 2 or interesting facts. Somebody else. We'll do volunteers this round. Mega, good. Thank you for raising your hand.
Dominant
What
traits.
dominant traits? What can you tell me about dominant traits?
Some people inherit them from their parents.
Some people inherit dominant traits from their parents. Ahmed, good. Thank you for raising your hand. What's something you have down so far? Ahmed. Muhammad. You can say it out loud.
What is it called? It's really small ones, like dominant.
Traits.
Yeah, recessive traits.
Recessive traits. Okay. So recessive traits are things that are small and we might not see. Okay, good. All right. So let's take a second before I start our second viewing. What is something you need to focus in on this second round? Take a look at what you already have down on your paper. Take a look at what you have left to do. What's something you have to focus in on this round?
Peas.
Ali Fawaz, what's something you have to try to listen for?
Interesting details.
Interesting details, so you're going to be listening for that. Julius, what's something you're going to be listening for this round?
Something about Gregor Mendel.
Okay, so you're going to be listening for information about Gregor Mendel. Eamon, what's something you're going to be listening for this round?
Question.
Okay, question. So you have all your other stuff done? Okay. Mohammed, go ahead. Click the full screen button.
You have to click it on the mouse. Above. It doesn't work.
It was working earlier. Click play. Try hitting play. Now try it. There we go.
One of these genes to make a plant tall. It takes 2 short genes, represented by a lowercase g, to make a plant short. In the 19th century, a British geneticist
tell you in a
named
second
Reginald
what I was
Punnett
doing.
also experimented with peas and developed something called the Punnett square. Among other things, this Punnett square lets you predict the likelihood of what you would get if you cross a tall plant with a short plant. An offspring gets 1 gene from each parent, either a tall or a short plant. Each plant produced by these 2 plants will be tall because each one has one of those dominant tall genes. But what happens if 2 of these new plants produce offspring? There are lots of ways this could turn out, but the most likely result is that we get 3 tall plants and 1 short one. Mendel only figured this stuff out after carefully studying 30,000 individual pea plants over an 8-year period. Well, I guess it's pretty reasonable to assume that he had peas for dinner every night. I think they're missing the point. Bodie.
Okay. Paula, what is one fact you learned during the video?
I learned that the offspring gets 1 gene from each plant.
Okay, so offspring gets 1 gene from each parent. Malik?
I said that heredity could come from anybody in your whole family tree.
Heredity could come from anybody in your family tree. So, one trait that Mrs. Peterson and I learned is that twins and having twins is a trait that is passed down from generation to generation. But just because your parents have twins doesn't mean that you're gonna have twins. It could come anywhere in your thing. So obviously twins is a recessive trait. It's not a trait that's seen every time. If it was a dominant trait, if I had twins, my kids would have twins. It's a recessive trait, and usually they say that twins skip a generation. So a generation is if, like, grandparents are one generation, parents are another generation, you're a third generation. And they say that twins skip a generation. It's a myth. It's not necessarily true, but oftentimes it is. And the weird thing is that there, in our families, that trait is true. On both my side and on Mrs. Peterson's side, there are twins. None of our parents had twins, or any of our parents' cousins had twins, but the generation above, they did have twins. I actually have a second cousin that lives in Canada, same generation as me. So our grandparents were sisters. I had twins, and he had twins. And the same thing on Mrs. Peterson's side, the exact same thing happened. So maybe that is true. I'd like to see if that can be scientifically proven. I just thought that was kind of interesting. And that was something that I thought of. That's a connection that I made when they showed that huge family tree thing. Was a connection I made. So, one more fact that we learned watching the video. Shannon?
One other fact I did was that two scientists used pea plants to experiment.
Okay, so Mendel, he was called the father of genetics, and he experimented on pea plants. Okay? Anyone hear that detail about how many different experiments that he did on the pea plant to test the heredity? They said over 8 years he was doing that. How many different experiments he did? This is the scientific method in action right here. Ali Fawaz.
They said that he did it 30,000 times.
Over 30,000 times he experimented on pea plants. Remember when we did, at the end of conclusion, what does it say to do? To retest and repeat. He retested and repeated his experiment 29,000 times. In over eight years. Amazing, right? So when we talk about retesting and repeating and the scientific method, that's it right there. Okay, what were interesting details? Ryan?
They said some people may inherit dominant traits by their parents.
Okay. And Hussein Awada.
Everybody has traits.
Everybody has traits. And one question. What's one question we still have after watching this video 2 times? Sarah Nabasny, go ahead.
If my dad has blue eyes and my mom has brown eyes, why did me and my sister both get brown eyes? And
Say that one more time.
I said, if my dad has blue eyes and my mom has brown eyes, how come me and my sister both got brown eyes?
Okay. So if one parent has blue and one parent has brown, how come both of us have brown? That's the same thing that happened in my family. I have blue eyes. Mrs. Peterson, brown eyes. Owen, brown eyes. Cole and Brody are fraternal twins, so do they have to look alike? No, you could have fraternal twins that are a boy and a girl. Cole, brown, Brody, brown. My mom, brown eyes. My dad, blue eyes. I have blue eyes. Sarah said the same thing that happened in my family. One of her parents has blue and one of her parents have brown, but both her and her sister also have brown. So let's think about that. A dominant trait is the trait that shows up the most, right? And a recessive trait is a trait that shows up every once in a while. What does that tell us about brown eyes and blue eyes? One of them is dominant, one of them is recessive. Which trait is which trait is brown eyes? Malak. I'm sorry. I meant to call it Malak.
It's dominant.
Which one's dominant? Yeah.
The brown.
Brown eyes is a dominant trait. Okay? Blue eyes is a recessive trait. So if you have an offspring, I know what your question. How does someone get blue eyes then?
No, I was gonna say my whole side of my mom's family, all of they have brown hair, brown eyes. I was the first one to have blue eyes and blonde hair.
So what that means is somewhere in your family tree, you have somebody that has blue eyes. And that's a recessive trait and it just showed up. And each time you have an offspring, know how they were doing the Punnett square? It resets. Okay, even if it's fraternal twins, it resets. It resets every single time. And that just does the probability. Okay, the chances. That doesn't mean it's going to follow it exactly. Okay, go ahead, Jim. Okay, guys, let's go back. Let's look at our content and Legos objectives. Let's see what we finished today. And if there's something we didn't finish today, we'll get to it next time. So, I can demonstrate my ability to preview text by using the themes method. Thumbs up, thumbs to the side. Did we get to it today? Julius, you can pan around the room and get thumbs if you want. Alright, good. I can remember what I know about heredity by completing a bubble map. We actually did a lot of bubble maps today, didn't we? Okay, and then this one right here, I can evaluate what I've learned today by starting a concept map. We did not get to that today, we'll get to that next time, okay? No, we didn't get to it at all, we'll get to it next time. And let's look right here, I could complete a graphic organizer with my partner to preview text. The themes worksheet, guys. That's a graphic organizer. Good. And you actually have more than one partner too, because we were rotating around. Alright, I can complete a concept map to show connections to new words. We didn't get to that. We'll get to it next time. And we're actually going to do it online on BrainPod. It's pretty cool, I checked it out. Well, the phone can wait. If it's an emergency, they'll call back. Or we send someone down. Alright, good job. Thank you.